Good morning. It has sure been a minute since I've seen y'all. I'm really happy to be here. If you haven't yet and you're just joining, please don't hesitate to like and follow and share. This always helps. It helps me to spread the message. It helps me to grow and expand, which is amazing. But I'm really happy to be here with you all today. It's a really beautiful day out. And forgive my little movement around and adjusting some things. Hey, start your day with a grateful heart. That's what I think. Start each day with a grateful heart. I just said this to a couple of people that I was talking to at a workshop this past weekend. It was all weekend long. Definitely learned some very valuable things. One of the things that we were talking about was momentum and how it comes up that our day and each day is often a flow of momentum in one way or another. And so it's really important to decide how you're going to start your day and to create some momentum in your day. And so we were talking about it, and I had someone say, sometimes it's just hard when you wake up and you start thinking about something challenging. I said, yeah, totally. Or something the day before happened, and that's what's running in your mind. And I said, you know what I do in the mornings is I wake up, and as soon as I am conscious of my thought stream, which is probably realistically at least within 3 seconds of waking up, I don't know, and I go, thank you. And I say thank you over and over again until I really start feeling my body begin to fill with gratitude. So that it's not just words, but rather I actually start to embody it. And that's what I do, is I start to say thank you. Some people, if you want, you can wake up, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And my thank yous, as I continue to say them in the morning and my body begins to fill with gratitude, my thank yous start turning into thank you for this life, thank you for the people that I love, for this home that I have, for all of these things in my life that I'm really grateful for. But it creates a bit of a momentum in my day. It's very difficult to focus on the negative things or whatever it is that you might have been frustrated about the day before. It's very difficult to do that when you're feeling really grateful. It's very difficult to stay upset. It's difficult to focus on or search for the things in your world that maybe aren't the best. So I like to start my day like that. It helps a lot. It helps to create some really grateful momentum in my day. So today I wrote in pause and reflect. And I think this is a really simple concept, but it is something that has helped me profoundly in my life in terms of navigating uncomfortable situations or navigating uncomfortable feelings. And so it's pretty simple to understand. But here's how it works. Inevitably, probably every single day, you're going to be confronted with, and whether that's in person or via technology, you're going to be confronted with someone or some situation that someone says something or does something that doesn't feel good. That's probably going to happen. every single day, almost, where somebody says something and something inside of you doesn't like that. I'll give you for example. Just this weekend in this workshop that I was in, it wasn't long before I was engaging with someone at the workshop. And very early on, they made some comment about, oh, I haven't picked on you yet, and immediately, the way that they spoke to me, although I know their attempt was to be funny and to try to create maybe some humor, they immediately started asking questions. I didn't know the answers. And so I kind of felt a little stunted, a little shocked. And then immediately they began giving me, no, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And it really caught me off guard. And so after that interaction, I sat down in my chair and I was just flushed with irritation and frustration. I wanted to just leave. I just wanted to get up. I'm like, who does that? And so I had to take a moment. I grabbed my water and I sipped on my water. And this frustration boiling inside, like, I would never speak to somebody like that. I would never speak to somebody to belittle them or to try to make them feel small. So I had to kind of gather myself, and for several reasons. Let's be honest about what happens inside. So what happens inside, for me, what happened inside was I felt really flustered. I felt unprepared. I didn't have the answer. So inside, what I'm feeling is I'm feeling like I'm not good enough. So this instance is poking that space within that says, oh, look, you don't have the answer. You're not good enough, see? And then all of a sudden, my ego representing the part of me that wants to shine brightly and do things right and say the right things, flares up and puffs up its chest and is like, you don't tell me. You don't talk to me like this. And so now my ego is flared up a little bit, and now I'm feeling less than. And so I had to really take a moment and pause and reflect on exactly what I'm sharing with you, what's happening in the situation, what I'm feeling inside, really addressing and paying attention to what I'm feeling inside. Most people don't really self-reflect. We point a finger out at somebody, and that's the end of that. That's the direction of our irritation, our frustration, or our discomfort. But by pausing for a moment and really reflecting, I'm able to observe this person is using a type of language that is reflective of how they feel inside. Simple as that. And the feeling that I'm getting from it is a result of how I feel about me inside. And most of the time, people don't really pause and self-reflect. Most of the time, we get hit with an emotion and it overwhelms us, and now all of a sudden we're inside of a circumstance or situation with our emotions just going without really reflecting on what's happening. What is the person or people around me saying, thinking, feeling, doing that is theirs, and what is happening inside of me that's causing my response? And it's so simple to think about, pause and reflect. But most people don't pause or reflect. Most of us get reactive. So somebody says or does something to us, and we just get reactive. We have a comment or a remark or something, and it's almost like that little child inside just jumping right back, snapping back. And I think it's really, really helpful to learn the skill of pausing and reflecting. Not only reflecting on ownership for yourself, but also reflecting so that you can maybe even understand and observe where somebody else is coming from. Because as soon as I did that, as soon as I was able to really understand what was happening in me, that sense of insecurity or fear that I was feeling, that feeling of not being good enough, it's hard to say I don't know. Our ego doesn't like that. And then to recognize my ego and wow, this is poking and pushing up against my ego, allows me to go, okay, wait a minute, I want to choose how I feel here, and I want to choose how to deal with the situation. And the other side of that is observing how this other person was behaving and understanding that that's a reflection in the same way of what they're feeling about themselves. For somebody to say something negative or nasty about somebody else, especially without even knowing them, which is in this circumstance or this case, is likely because they don't feel good about themselves. Everything we do is a reflection. Everything we say is a reflection of what's happening inside. So knowing that allowed me to have a lot of compassion towards this person. What they're saying and how it's coming out has nothing to do with me. It has to do with what's happening within them. But my emotion and my feeling that comes up has everything to do with me. And that part I get to control. That part I get to work on. That part I get to reform. And so the beauty in something so simple as pausing and reflecting allows me to gain control of how I want to navigate a circumstance or situation, because it's going to happen nearly every day, if not every day, if not multiple times a day, when you're going to get uncomfortable emotion because of something someone said or did, and it stirs up something in you. And to be able to pause and acknowledge, self-reflect, why am I feeling this? Your emotion has nothing to do with that other person. It has to do with the reflection that you're seeing in them, stirring something in you. So being able to reflect on what that is, what am I feeling? Where is that coming from in me? And then being able to observe in another person. Okay, they must be feeling something uncomfortable. They must have a particular reflection about themselves. The only reason people say negative things about other people is because of what they're feeling inside about themselves. Because otherwise, there's just no need. What's the need? So I was able to take the situation, and let me explain in a really amazing way, without going into too much detail or saying names, what happens when you learn to pause and reflect. Oftentimes, people just get reactive and they fire something back. Or they curl up inside and cower because they go right into victim mode. So we either attack somebody back or we go into victim mode. Being able to pause and reflect allows you to gather yourself, control your emotions, and deal with the situation completely differently. In this circumstance, had I not done that, I tell you, everything inside of me wanted to walk away, just get up and walk away, because I was so taken aback by somebody speaking to me this way, and I would never speak to somebody this way. If I didn't know how to pause and reflect on what I was feeling and where it was coming from, and then also this other person, I wouldn't have had probably one of the most profound experiences. Not one of the most profound. A really, really friggin' amazing experience I had this weekend, connecting with a really cool person. And it was that person. I would not have seen what I see in this person if I allowed my emotions that flared up and caused a negative reaction within me to take over. And instead, I saw so much good in this person, and actually now have an opportunity to really help them and coach them. How cool is that? All because of the simple concept of pausing and reflecting. And imagine how many altercations we have in our lives, how much conflict we have that can be shifted, changed, or adjusted, or avoided. Not avoided as in run away from it, avoided as in it doesn't happen. because we actually paused and reflected on what we were feeling and what this particular circumstance was stirring within us. It's not easy if we're conditioned to be reactive. It's deeply worth it to learn how to reflect on what's happening in here. So hopefully this really helps today and every day. Hopefully it really helps for you to think about pausing and reflecting on what's happening inside, and next, what's maybe happening with this other person or people that you're engaged with. So when we go into our meditation today, we're going to really work on these moments and these opportunities to really pause and reflect within ourselves so that we can completely change many of the interactions that we have in our lives. Right. So we're going to do our meditation today. And as always, open-handed and open-hearted, sitting up nice and tall. If you haven't, and you're watching this on whatever platform you're watching this, please click like and subscribe and share and tell the whole world so that we can take over the world. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's focus today on how we can really utilize this time to pause and reflect, self-reflect, and then reflect on perhaps what others might be feeling or going through as well. So let's start with our breath. As always, we're working on our breath to begin to change the chemistry within the body, bring the stress levels down, and really come into focusing on the present. Not being in our head, worried about the future, not being worried about the past. So let's begin with a 6-second breath in. Breathe deeply in, expanding in your diaphragm, expand in your chest. And then slowly exhale. Breathe deeply in, expanding in your belly. Open up that diaphragm, expand in your chest. And exhale. Your breath is incredibly important to expand and open up, support all the functions of the body. We also teach our body how to breathe deeply and not breathe in a shallow way. Shallow breath causes and creates more stress for the body. Take some time to breathe deeply in. And exhale, letting it go. Breathe deeply in. And exhale, letting it go. Focus on the present moment. Focus on with your breath expanding. And you begin to breathe in, expanding in the diaphragm. Imagine that balloon opening up in the belly, filling your belly up as much as possible, then allowing your lungs to fill up. And exhale, letting it all go. Good. Breathe deeply in. Allow everything else to begin to fade away. Just come to focus on your breath. Good. Let's do one more big deep breath in. And exhale, letting it go. Very good. As always, let us do this meditation today and take this time really centered on and founded upon gratitude. So imagine now planting those patches of grass or the ground beneath you. Of gratitude Really allow yourself to be surrounded by gratitude, and then allow yourself to fill up just like you would pour water into a glass and watch it fill from the bottom to the top with gratitude. And just imagine yourself being filled up with gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just allow yourself to be filled with gratitude. And so as we begin our body scan, let's tune into your head, top of your head, noticing if you feel anything, just allowing your awareness to be connected to whatever comes up for you. Is there tension? Have we been overthinking? Have we been stressed and concerned? Notice if there's anything in the body. As we move down the body into the neck and the shoulders, notice if you're carrying any tension or stress. Notice if you're carrying extra weight or burden that is not yours. Breathe deeply in and release that. Moving down the body, noticing the arms resting and relaxing at the side. Breathe deeply in and just notice any stuck energy in the body, any tension. Have you been squeezing or holding on to or trying to control things in your world? Or are you truly surrendering and allowing all that is not yours to worry about to be as it is? Moving down the body into the chest. As we breathe deeply in into the diaphragm and allow your chest to expand, notice if there is any restriction in your breath, in your lungs, in your chest, in your heart. Just become aware and notice what we carry. Moving down the body, into the belly, into the low back, into the core. As you breathe deeply in and expand, do you notice that it is easy to breathe in, or is it difficult to expand? Is our diaphragm not exercised and worked? Are we breathing so shallow and stressed so often? How are your organs operating for you? How are your systems in your body functioning? What is your body telling you? Are you sore? Are you strong? Good. Moving down the body into the hips. Notice if there is any tension or restriction in your root chakra. And as you tune into whether or not you are rooted or uprooted and stressed and chaotic in your life, really tune in to maybe any stuck energy, anything we might be holding on to. Frustration, pain, wounds. What is your body communicating? Just listen. Good. Moving down the body into the legs, the knees, the feet. Just noticing what comes up. Noticing how the body feels and what it's communicating. Good. And so as we begin our meditation today, imagine opening up in that third eye, or the very crown chakra, the top of your head, and imagine a portal or a door or a space opening up for you to connect with Source and your higher self, for you to really allow in the awareness and insights that you need in order to expand. Notice your body sitting upright. Notice all of your chakras aligned. Notice all of this energy flowing in your body, moving freely and positively and joyfully and easily. Imagine it flowing, not being stuck in any space, but from the root through the crown and from the crown back down through the root. Imagine this energy flow. As you breathe up and down, this energy moves. And what does it feel like for energy to move freely throughout the body? And can you tune in to the closest circumstance you can recall where you became reactive towards a situation or a person or people? Can you recount the circumstance? Can you recall the emotion? Can you reflect on what within you was poked, was ignited, was awoken, or woke up? What did it stir within you? What did you feel? And what fear or insecurity did it touch within you? Maybe it was a sense of rejection. Maybe it was a sense of being unlovable. Maybe it was a sense of not being good enough. Maybe it was triggering an old wound, a past something that's happened many times in your life. And so it repeated that same story in your mind, and then your body felt it. And we became hit by a wave of emotion. Just pause for a moment to notice. And then, what was happening in the circumstance or the situation or the person or the people? Reflecting upon maybe what's happening inside of them for the sake of allowing us more compassion, for the sake of us having more understanding. Towards this person or this circumstance or this people. By having more understanding and more compassion, we then feel less discomfort aimed in that direction. By understanding what's working within us, what fear, what insecurity, what wound is being touched, what old story is being replayed within ourselves, we better function in the circumstance. We speak differently. We approach the person or the people differently. As you pause, as you reflect on these circumstances that happen in your life, I want you to imagine what it would feel like when someone said something unkind or unpleasant in your direction or in anyone's direction. I want you to envision your whole body being filled up with love. Just imagine someone or something, some circumstance in your life that is uncomfortable, or that something someone says, and just imagine whatever it is as it flows from their lips, you become filled with love. The same way we fill up with gratitude, like a cup of water being poured in and watching that water rise and fill up. Imagine first being filled up with love for yourself. Imagine first if that person unplugged and you started draining the love for yourself with their words and what they said. You plug it back up and you begin to pour love inside. Imagine becoming aware that someone unplugged something because you gave them permission to. And you cover that up, you plug that up, and you begin to fill yourself up with love. I am good. I am capable. I am lovable. I am worthy. I know my value. I know my worth. I know I am loved. I know I am loved. I know I am kind. I know I am capable. And what else? What else do you begin to pour and fill yourself up with? I get to decide my level of worth. That's not up to anyone else. And so as you fill yourself up, envisioning and imagining, being full, knowing your light, knowing that how you feel is up to you, and how you respond is up to you. You keep pouring until you are filled up entirely. So that however you choose to respond, whatever you choose to say, whatever you decide to do, you do it, you say it, you choose it from a space of love. And then as you are full, now operating from the space we are all meant to, you're able to observe the same within them. You're able to begin filling them up with love and gratitude. You're able to begin to find compassion, to see the wounding and the fear and the insecurity from which their comments, their actions come from. You're able to find compassion and understand that what they're saying or doing has no reflection on you. Rather, it is simply a projection of what they feel within themselves. Pause and reflect. In each day and every moment we pause and we reflect and we fill ourselves up with love and we fill the other person or people up with love, then none of their negative energy, none of our negative energy, none of the discomfort gets perpetuated. Instead, we operate from a space of love. There may or may not be truth in what other people say and do that is uncomfortable for us to receive. But to gather what is good from every experience, we must pause and reflect. Coming back to celebrating every win and holding space in sorrow. Focusing on your wins and focus on their wins. Where there is discomfort, simply holding space. Reflect so that you can decide the energy with which you want to show up with. And for whatever came into your awareness today, be mindful that you can pause and reflect at every moment. Choose to operate from a space of love. Love for yourself, gratitude for yourself, knowing your worth, and then reflecting that same thing back towards others who likely are not feeling their worth in the moment when they are saying or doing something unkind. Breathe deeply in. Expand in your diaphragm and your belly. Open it up. Open up your chest. And exhale. Breathe deeply in, expanding and opening, focusing right here on the present. Exhale, letting it all go. Breathe deeply in, noticing the state of your being now. And exhale, letting it all go. Breathe in, focusing right here, right now. And as you exhale, letting the stress flow from the body, letting the body come back into balance, into a calm state. Breathe deeply in, one more big deep breath in. And exhale, letting it all go. Oh yes. I'm so grateful for this. Every day. Meditation. Every day, every day, every day. Take this time to pause. Take this time to fill yourself up. Become so good at it that this is how you operate each and every day from this space of gratitude, from this space of love. Maybe when you start utilizing the notion of pausing and reflecting, you get so good at it that our uncomfortable emotion doesn't boil up and over and take over a circumstance, or rather we become aware of it and we choose something different instead. We have this ability. And the more you do something, the more you create these deepened grooves in your mind. That works both ways. If we practice reactivity over and over and over again, we will continue perpetuating conflict in these areas of our life. But instead, if we practice pausing and reflecting and identifying what we would like to feel, how we would like to respond, we get so much better at responding out of love and then creating beautiful circumstances and situations from which to experience life. I hope this was incredibly helpful for you. I hope, as always, you like, follow, subscribe, and share, and all of the good things so that we can take over the world with awesomeness. And I would love to hear in the comments below for you to share about a moment when you recognized that if you had paused and reflected, what you had felt within that caused you to be reactive in a circumstance. Leave that in the comments below, and I will get back to you. Now, every day, yesterday, tomorrow, as always, most importantly, deeply in with every fiber of your being, know your worth.